Breaking Bad would not work without the presence of children. Since its beginning, children have been a driving force for the show and its characters. One of the primary reasons why Walter turned to the meth business in the first place is because he needed money for his soon-to-be baby Holly. Uniquely from other shows, Breaking Bad isn't afraid to put children in danger, which it often does. By putting children in danger, the show is forcing its characters to make decisions that either protect or harm the innocent. Simply put, characters in Breaking Bad are defined by their interactions with children. As I mentioned, our main character Walter felt the need to get some money to support his children Walt Jr. and Holly, so he decided to enter into the meth-making business. Without Walt Jr. and Holly, there would not have been a strong incentive for Walter to turn to crime. It is also through his children that we see a truthful side to Walter. In the first episode, we see Walt Jr. get picked on by a few guys in a clothing store. Walter sees these guys bullying his son and violently acts out for the first time in the series. Without knowing it yet, this was the audience's first introduction to Heisenberg. Walter is also the most truthful with his daughter Holly, who is the youngest and most innocent child in the series. Towards the end of season 2, in the episode Phoenix, Walter meets his daughter Holly for the first time. While caring for the newborn in the middle of the night, Walter reveals his truth to Holly. He shows her the money that he has hidden in the walls and says,
"Daddy did that for you."
This makes Holly the first of the White family to know Walter's secret. As Walter devolves more into his Heisenberg persona, his interactions with children get a little bit more ill-natured. We see a turning point for Walter's character when he allows Jesse's girlfriend Jane to die right before his eyes. Though Jane is of adult age, she can be considered a child victim of the show, especially since we have a few crucial scenes between her and her father. Showrunner Vince Gilligan gives his reasoning of why Walter let Jane die.
I think it's self-preservation, but I think, because she threatened to expose him, but I don't even think that. I think that was it was 1/4 self-preservation. I think it was 3/4 saving Jesse, because I think he honestly believed, and I think in the point of fact, he was probably right, that they would have eventually overdosed one or both of them, and it might have been Jesse next time. And I think he was looking out for Jesse and also for himself.
His care for Jesse, who is sometimes seen as another son to Walter, drives him to make this pivotal decision in the show. He chose to let one child die in order to save another. In the final season, Walter performs one of his most malicious acts when he poisons Andrea's son Brock. Despite all of the other trials and tribulations of Walter and Jesse's relationship, the poisoning of Brock is the final straw. By actively putting the child in danger, Walter showed Jesse his true nature, thus causing Jesse to turn against him.
You wanna know what he did? You wanna hear about it?
Jesse, put out the lighter.
He poisoned a little kid. An 8-year-old boy just because, just has to move.
Jesse is a character who has the closest relationship with children. He has a great affinity with the innocent, which makes a lot of sense considering that Breaking Bad tells the story of Jesse's loss of innocence. An episode that highlights Jesse's care for children is season 2's Peekaboo. Jesse is tasked by Walter to confront a couple about drug money that is owed, and as he does so, he comes across the 7-year-old son of the couple. The episode ultimately becomes about Jesse and the young boy. In the end, Jesse heroically protects the young boy from seeing the aftermath of his father's death and gets him out of the house with the intentions of the cops taking him away from his drug-abusing mother.
You have a good rest of your life, kid.
Jesse makes his judgments about other people based on how they treat children. As mentioned before, Jesse decides that he is done with Walter when he finds out that Brock had been poisoned by him. Although Walter tries to convince Jesse that Gus poisoned Brock, Jesse knew the real truth. However, it was pretty smart of Walter to put the blame on Gus, because it would not be surprising if Gus poisoned a child. At different points in the series, Gus makes it clear that he has no problem using or threatening children.
I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
Gus and Jesse had a big disagreement in season 3 about children when Gus used Andrea's brother and other children to do his dealings.
They use kids. These assholes of yours, they got an 11-year-old kid doing their killing for them. You're supposed to be some kind of a reasonable businessman. This how you do business?
After Jesse told Gus that he couldn't stand for the use of children, Andrea's brother Tomas ended up dead, causing Jesse to spiral. When Jesse had a difficult time working with Gus or even with Walter, he often turned to Mike. In the series, Jesse forms a bond with Mike, who is another character who has a special care for children. When we meet Mike, he is tough and no nonsense. We really don't see his softer side until the show introduces his granddaughter, Kaylee. She is Mike's weakness, and the DEA ultimately catches on to him because he was trying to store money away for her. After Mike is killed by Walt, Jesse makes it his responsibility to make sure that Kaylee receives money, even if it means it's coming from his own pocket. Jesse does not only set money aside for Kaylee, but also for the family of Drew Sharp. At the end of the Season 5 episode Dead Freight, the innocent Drew Sharp comes across Walter, Jesse, and Todd after their big heist. Having been told that no one could know about the heist, Todd pulls out his gun and shoots the child. This impacts Jesse deeply.
Of course, that bit with the train makes him feel the sting of guilt toward the death of young Drew Sharp all the more.
Jesse's relationship with kids is very powerful, and he loves them, and he wants to take care of them and protect them. And so with Todd doing this just unforgivable act puts Jesse in a very dark, saddened place.
This incident makes Jesse realize how dangerous Todd is, and it makes him decide that he is done with the business altogether. This incident also fills Jesse with guilt, as a lot of the heist was his idea. So, when he comes into a lot of money, he tries to give it all away to Mike's granddaughter Kaylee and Drew Sharp's family. Children bring out some of the most touching and tragic moments of the series. It's safe to say that no child in Breaking Bad had a happy ending. Every child in the show either was killed or had one of their parental figures killed. The innocent are the moral compass of Breaking Bad, which makes everyone's interactions with them the most telling of their character.